A darkness swirls in the sky. Madness engulfs the cities. Wars are raged for no reason. Plagues flourish. Lifelong friends are taunted by rumors and betrayals. Neighbors drag each other from their homes and engage in acts of violence so extreme, even the demons turn away. The world does not end. It tears itself apart at the seams. The dark gods sit above and smile, their plans coming to fruition. The world swallowing itself whole and disappearing into darkness for all time.
Muted, Charlie.
I don't know where I am muted, but I think I've pushed all the buttons now, so one of them must have worked. Welcome to the Hellfire plot. Today is Wednesday. Today we face the work of demons, darkness, and just life in a city, because we know that is very close to the above two things. And we delve into Mangosh from Zweihander. There we go. And as we face the ticking of the clock and the growing darkness at the edge of the world, I hand over to the darkest of mistresses, Susanna Grace.
All right. Remember, the 6th of November, the Hellfire treason plot. I see no reason that such demonic treason should ever be forgot. And so we find ourselves in the city of Hearthome, the heart of the kingdom itself. This is a sprawling expanse of buildings of all sorts with huge districts of residential, sorry to stop chat there, god damn it. Residential, merchant districts. We have every sort of district you could have in a city, but they're sitting right at the center is the heart of Hearthome, the religious district. This is a place of great power and faith. It is a huge, almost like a maze, a labyrinth of cathedrals, as there are many gods to be worshipped here and many places in which to do this worship. Each sort of sect, each cult erecting their own magnificent monument to their gods, most in this dark Gothic architecture with huge spires, gargoyles, and grotesques are common in all sorts of shapes. From angelic faces staring down at you in the streets to the glower of demons glaring at you from corners. This is home. And so this is where you find yourselves today. It is a cold, dry, clear and crisp day in November. Zara, where are you this morning?
I am currently clinging on to a statue in a recess on the exterior of an old building. I'm watching people in the market eyeing up familiar pickpockets and trying to avoid the dripping of the rain on this gloomy November day.
All right, and you catch eyes with one of these pickpockets across the market, and they look at you, sort of gesture.
And she'll hop down from the statue and move around the corner of this building, kind of away from the market.
Mm-hmm. So as you move around the corner of the market, you see this person, sort of a very skinny-looking man, quite gaunt in the face, just casually put his hand in his pockets and makes his way around the corner, very nonchalantly. Those in the business know who he is. They know what he gets up to, but most of the passers-by in the market have no idea who he is. And he sort of sidles up to you. You all right, Zara?
I'm all right. What do you want?
Can you put me in touch with that friend of yours? I need a favor.
Which friend and what kind of favor?
Like that one that feeds you. I've seen you.
What do you want from Freud?
You can get me something that I can't get.
How about I get it for you and you leave Freud alone?
You're not any good at this stuff.
What
I've seen
stuff?
you. Oh, Zara, you know what trade I'm in. You've seen me. Come on.
You want new lockpicks?
Yeah. Can you? And he kind of like keep your voice down. And he's like looks about very conspicuously.
Maybe your lockpicks would last longer if you didn't pick your nose with them.
You saw that? Wait, shut up.
I see a lot of things.
Look, can you get me them? Or get me to Freud?
What's in it for me?
I'll give you some money. And he picks up a fat coin purse and kind of jostles it. It's an easy supply around here. It's weird that you never seem to have any.
She's trying to control herself, but you definitely see a hunger as she's watching that purse kind of going up and down. And in her head, she's listening to the clink and trying to guess, trying to count what is clinking in that purse.
And he kind of holds it, goes, just imagine how much bread you could get with this hot stew, roast beef, gravy, vegetables, fruit. You could get with this.
All right, and she's gonna make a grab for that purse.
All right then. Okay, this is our very first roll. I would like you to make me a. Let's have a look. Where's my rolls at? Make me a. What do we got? Yeah, skullduggery. Let's go.
Coordination. Yeah. It's probably coordination.
Coordination. Yeah.
All right. So my base is 48 because that's my agility base. I have a human trait called Manifest Destiny. When using a skill you do not possess, skill ranks in, add a +5 base chance. Now for the audience at home, I'm technically a half elf, but I have a human trait. So my goal is going to be a 53. Susie, any difficulty modifiers?
I would say this is a minus 10% challenging, as this dude's a pickpocket. He has fast hands, and he's well aware that he's taunting you with money, so he's gonna be...
He knows it's coming.
He's knows it's coming, yeah.
Target 43. Oh, so close.
That is a critical failure. So, he doesn't even need to roll the coordination test to beat that. But you sort of swipe for it, and he very quickly, he tosses it up in the air and catches it overhand. Zara, come on. Tucks it back into his belt.
You wave it around and you're going to lose it.
Nope. Never have, never will. But you should learn the value of an honest day's work. You can't just go taking money off a man in the street. What is this?
Seems pretty honest to me. It's fine, I'll talk to Freud. But I expect to be paid before I hand it over.
Oh yeah, you'll get your money.
Fine. Before you go, I need you to listen out for something.
For what?
I'm looking for someone.
Who?
I don't know. goes by the nickname Saint. Something to do with the High Church.
What?
That's all I have.
All right. You know, there's like 20 churches here, right? And all of them have got their own saints, all got their own martyrs, all got their own lofty
I am aware.
ideals.
I'm still in the guild.
All right.
Look, you've got the biggest ears on this market, and the quickest hands. You'll figure it out, I'm sure.
All right. How's that Doomsday going for you anyway? He laughs as he walks off.
It's going great. It's only 3 months overdue. Thanks for asking.
And he saunters off into the crowd and he disappears. He seems to like melt with the crowd as you try to track him as he goes and he just vanishes. Seraphina, where do we find you this morning?
Seraphina is set up in the busiest part of the marketplace. She is playing her drum and working with a dancer who she sort of has a partnership with, where they just like set up and play music while the dancer dances when they try to get money when Seraphina's not off scalding in the war.
Okay, so as you're drumming, I would like you to make me an awareness test, please.
All right. Don't have great chances of this. Nope.
Okay. So you're drumming away. You've got quite a little audience around you. The dancer seems to be quite popular, and you're providing a great sort of steady beat for her to dance to. And you kind of mix it up a bit, and there's a few like polite ooh, ahs, and some clapping especially from the like richer clientele that are coming past. You see like a few like quaint ladies in very elegant dresses made of fine sort of silks and stuff with the little umbrellas, and they very politely golf clap at you as you're performing in the square. And it's after you finish up one particular sort of sequence and the dancer, she bows deeply. You can see she's breathing heavily as she's been really going at it. This has been quite an energetic piece. And you take a moment to pause and rest, and you see a couple people come up and throw coins into a hat that you have. And as you watch one particular person come up, you notice that hat's a bit lighter than it should be. There's something missing. Some money missing. There is at least 2 golden crowns in there, and they are gone.
Hey.
You see, putting in a couple of bronze pennies, a very thin, gaunt man. And he goes, "What? I'm giving you money."
Does it seem like this is the... Like, does it seem like those crowns just went missing?
Yes. Because you kind of, as you've been performing, you keep an eye on your, your money. You know what the people are like around here. You kind of know there's the upper class, there's the middle class, there's the lower class, and then there's the lower class who would think no twice about robbing a busker in the streets. So you're always keeping your eye on them.
Someone just took some money out of there.
Well, that sucks for you, doesn't it? Wasn't me.
Empty out your pockets.
You what? You kidding me? I'm here giving you money, and you're asking me to empty out your pocket? Is this... Guards, okay, and he's like making up a whole scene here. It's like, have you seen what she's... This is like daylight robbery. Are you... Call yourself. And he's like trying to get really sort of judgmental, like up on a high horse. But nobody seems to be backing him up. And he's kind of just stood there, flapping around, making this scene.
Hey, don't make a scene, all right? Just give me back the money that you stole. You can be on your way.
Roll me an intimidation check. And we'll make this a routine plus 10%, because this is your turf. And I imagine when you've got your Skald kit, you got a kind of like intimidating thing around you, because this is like what you take to war with you.
Oh, yeah. I need, and you said plus 10%?
Plus 10%, yeah.
So I need below 61.
All right, let's go. Oh, Jess, this is your
So
brand. You just
intimidating!
ace the intimidation checks every time. All right. And you see, for a minute, an expression passes over his face, which is definitely like, I can carry on doing this and get my teeth knocked out, all 3 of them that I have left, or I can give this woman, I can fess up. And he kind of chews his lip and looks off to the side before he sticks his hand in his pocket, and the 2 golden crowns fall back in your hat.
That's what I thought.
I'm sorry, all right? Like, hungry, innit? I need food. I gotta do, what I gotta do.
And I gotta do what I gotta do. Now get the hell out of here.
You sure you can't just spare one?
Get the hell out of here.
He just kind of like backs up and scarpers away.
She very angrily like beats her drum, like as he's retreating, like staring after him.
She's like, go and get you. Right. And you watch him run off into the crowds. Okay, Zachariah. I get Jay just as he's doing something.
I'm here.
What is your morning like?
So Zachariah will have ventured into the center of town. He's basically come in to find some basic fruits and any animal, animal food to eat from the marketplace, because his stores are running a little low, and he's begrudgingly come into town.
Okay, so there's quite a bounty on offer for you here in the market. Hotholm is the main city, so this is the port of call for all traders, for all people, all guilds. So everything's available from you, from freshly butchered meats to dried meats, salted meats, cured meats, vegetables, fruits, whatever you could want is here available at the marketplace. And you yourself, you can see that there's, quite a lot of fine folks walking around here, a lot of servants. You see a couple of the clergy coming around gathering simple root vegetables for their community soup pots that they make. You also see, clutching a statue, sheltering away from the rain, a young woman with dark skin and a cascade of dark brown hair. And she seems to have just been having quite a tense conversation with somebody.
I will walk over. Some trouble?
No, it's all right. Thank you.
Yeah. You look a little bit upset for all right, don't you?
Well, no, really, it's fine.
Now, come on, we can have a little more fun than that, can't we?
You really want to know?
Of course, I'm just a bored old man in need of a little excitement, dear.
The world was meant to end 3 months ago. And look! Everyone's still here. Everything is still here. It doesn't make any sense.
It's also terribly disappointing, isn't it?
I mean, I wasn't looking forward to it as such, but it was just set. Everyone agreed. When have you ever known everyone to agree on something?
Never. And that's the fun, dear. You should look forward to the end, you know? If you're not looking forward, you're doing it wrong.
My mother was a doomsayer. She liked talking about the end a lot. What was your dooming, friend?
What's my dooming? My dooming, unsurprisingly, is much like it is in life. Sorrow will fill your heart at death. Or if you're really lucky, it'll get you early.
You're in very high spirits for such a dismal day.
Well, this is the highlight of my week, coming into town and causing a little mischief.
Well, if you ever want to know your real future, I'm an astrologer. I'll tell you the truth of the signs.
The truth?
Well, yes, of course.
It's
Nothing more
very
truthful
novel.
than stars.
I like the stars. They have their purpose. Truth, I find, is a novel concept, somewhat fluid and ever-changing.
There's
I wouldn't
your
mind
truth,
knowing.
my truth, and the truth of the stars. And I will tell you the truth of the stars.
I suppose it'll cost me a pretty penny.
No. 2 brass pennies.
2 brass pennies for a good laugh. Do I have 2 brass pennies, Susie, at this point? Okay.
Yeah, you have a little coin purse. I think you've got a silver shilling and a couple of brass pennies.
Okay.
As the rain picks up, and for aesthetics, she like pulls up her cloak hood to make herself look a little bit more spooky, and reaches into her pocket and pulls out a small kind of piece of parchment which gives the details of where she reads the charts.
And Zachariah will make a big sort of show of just sort of getting into his coin purse very slowly. Right. 2, you said? What?
Yes, 2.
2. Right. 1.
1 for sorrow, 2 for joy.
Oh, well, then I'll just pay the 1, if that's the option. Excellent. I like a discount here.
A discount fortune.
It's
Do you
cheap
fear
for
nothing?
sorrow.
Do you fear nothing, friend?
What is there to fear? It all ends the same anyway. Sooner rather than later, if you're lucky.
3 months ago, if the charts were right.
Yes.
Didn't you say you wanted to enjoy things before the end? Wouldn't fear
That's
rather get in the
true.
way of that?
You make a good point. Not often I found myself encumbered by fear, mind. The time I find something that scares me, that's when I'll know I'm truly alive and happy.
You're a very strange man.
Yes. Yes, I am. What?
And she takes in the deep wrinkles of his face and almost admires that golden flash of hair on the side of his head. Very strange indeed. All right, 1 brass penny. After lunch.
Yes. Oh, good. I could do with some food.
Oh, you wish to accompany me for lunch?
Well, why not? We seemed already bound in fate, my dear. You're going to tell me my future. May as well break bread.
She holds out her hand for that bronze penny.
Well, can't take it with you. Yeah, there you go, my dear. And don't try and get any more. Huh?
What?
It's plenty of cash for you now.
And she flicks the coin and grabs it and flips it onto the back of her hand and takes a good look at the result and then looks at the stranger. Penny says you can come for lunch and tucks it into her pocket. Have you ever been to a
Good.
clockmaker's shop?
A clockmaker? To go to a clockmaker, you need to have care of the time. So no, I haven't.
Well, an adventure for you then. And she'll wave a hand in the direction of Freud's shop.
And Zachariah won't sort of wait. He's like, "Hey, onward then to lunch," and start sort of wandering off in the direction that was vaguely pointed, even though I don't really know where I'm going.
All right, so Zara, you take Zachariah to Freud's clock shop, which leaves us with Lucius. What is your morning like?
Well, I think you would zoom in on Lucius, and he is in an alleyway, but he is talking to 3 people in front of him, and they all kind of have this look of like happiness and joy on their faces. And he's like, yes, and now the light will guide you now that you are full of it. Always follow the light, and there will be no shadows in your path. Go. Be well in the light. And they kind of turn and go off into the alley, and he like turns around, starts walking back into the square. He has a handful of pamphlets, and he's looking for people who he thinks the light is guiding him to.
All right, so you stand there in the square with your pamphlets, and you see a young woman with dark skin with white hair drumming. You see a dancer in front of you, and you see this drummer sort of scare off this young man who darts away into the crowd. And as he does, he bumps into you, and he goes, "Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Kind of look.
Are you searching for something?
I mean, maybe, yeah.
The shadows.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but I know the way for you.
All right, here we
It's
go.
hard, isn't it? No, it's hard, isn't it? Always having a hunger inside of you. A hunger that always seems never full. And no matter what you do, no matter what you put inside, it's always wanting more. Like there's a beast inside of you, clawing at your insides. And it doesn't even let you sleep sometimes, does it?
And he kind of lets out like a big breath, looks down, like shuffles around in his foot. He's like, fucking hell, mate, I was going to pick your pocket, but Jesus.
There's another way. And I'm not saying there's even anything wrong with you picking pockets. There's a way to be fulfilled by it, though. Here. And I hand him like a tract that has like a time and a place of like a warehouse on the docks where there's like a abandoned warehouse where we meet. It's like, if you're interested, there's a way the light can guide every step you take.
Is this some sort of cult?
No, it is no cult.
Right.
It is the true way behind all the cults.
All right.
Aren't you
And he
tired of
looks-
everyone clamoring and trying to tell you that their way is the truth? Let the light
yeah.
show you the truth instead of listening to someone.
And he kind of looks really embarrassed. And he says, can you tell me what it says? I can't read.
Oh. Down on the docks, the old cannery that's by the seaboard, we meet there. The one with the big circle window in the top.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, we meet there. It's going to be, and I give them a specific time and a date that it will work for the game. And he's like, we just meet and I show you the way. And then you decide after you see what the light has to show you. Not anything I have to say. Just see what it is like to not have the shadows. To truly see yourself for the first time.
And there'll be, like, food there, right? Like,
Always.
and he, like, kind of puts his shoulders back, straightens up. I'll think about it. Thanks.
All right. And you keep that, just in case you forget. Even if you can't read it, it's a reminder that you have somewhere to be.
Got it. Yep. And so he sort of tucks it into his shirt and sort of walks off into the into the streets, through alleyways. He just sort of disappears off into the crowds. Where would you be heading to after this sort of encounter in the square? Are you just going to be hanging out there for like the rest of the day, handing out your pamphlets?
Basically, he's trying to find anyone who seems like they would be interested in listening, or that he, not even they're not interested, who he deems the light is guiding him to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we will cut back to Seraphina. So you are back again performing, and you've scared off this guy. You kind of saw him run off and bump into this sort of like tall, thin, white-haired looking dude wearing sort of like, I imagine he's wearing like loose roby stuff, John?
Yeah, kind of like very simple traveler's robes, nothing pretentious, kind of like gray, simple robes. Not ratty, but just very plain. Mm-hmm. Almost like they're just there to serve a purpose, not to call attention to themselves.
Yeah. So you see that sort of encounter happen, and once you again wrap up with the current song you're doing, the dancer comes up to you and she grabs the water skin by your feet. Oh, it's a bit of a quiet day today, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be better.
I think it's the rain. It's a bit of a bummer.
Might have to call today.
Yeah. I see the crazies are out, and she sort of gestures towards where Lucius is.
Well, it's hard to get to a place where they're not out anymore.
That's true. You know, like every year, I'm sure the cathedral district gets bigger, right? Like the towers get bigger. There's more and more chapels that get added. Like, I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong. I would never ever be against it. But you know, like.
Oh yeah, like I know tons of people who are religious, but it's just not for me.
Right? I just like nothing wrong with religion. Don't get me wrong.
Right? Yeah, like they can live their lives.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's kind of taking over the place, right? And then there's got half of them talking about like the doomsday, and then it isn't coming. Like surprise, surprise, because none of it's really idiots. And she's just like on this whole tear about it all being made up bollocks. And at this point, Lucius, you can hear this woman's voice just getting louder and louder, and she's talking all sorts of smack about organized religion, about religion in itself, about belief in these deities, and she's just sort of ranting to herself at this point.
I kind of like wander with a thoughtful look on my face as if I'm listening to her over. I agree.
What?
All of the ruinous powers, all the churches, it's all fake. It's all made up. They're just trying to lie to you, control you. They're building a structure, and they want to keep you inside of it.
And she just goes, "Look, pal, whatever you're selling, I'm not buying." And she turns to Seraphine and says, "Yes, I'll catch you later. I'm gonna go dry off and go get myself a drink. You can hit me up with my share whenever we're done. I'll see you around. Yeah."
Sounds good. Take care. I'll see you next time.
And she sort of dances away, like she's still like really dramatic about it as she heads off. And you are left alone with Lucius.
Do you also
I'm not
believe...
interested in your thing.
Well, in case it's interested in you, here you go. I hand you like a pamphlet.
Like I'll take it, but in that way that's like you handed me a baby's dirty diaper. Like, yeah, thanks for that. I'll just, and she's gonna like act like she's putting it in like a pouch at her belt, but then just like drop it on the ground. But try to hide that, maybe?
Okay, so roll me a guile test. So see how sneaky you are. No, wait. Stealth. Let's do it stealthily.
So.
Mm-hmm. Which is an agility skill. And this will be, we'll just make this a standard roll. So you don't add anything to it.
All right, I need to get under 42.
28.
My good roll is
Okay.
out of the way right now, and it doesn't matter.
What I now need is I need Jordan, Lucius, to roll me an awareness test. So that is on your sheet. Let me have
Under
a look. Let me
perception?
see. It is under perception, yes. Let me see. So let me see if you got any ranks in it, because I've got your sheet here. You do not have any ranks in awareness, so you need to roll under 45. So if you can roll me 1d100.
$67, I think, or 76.
Okay,
I always get
so
confused doing. Yeah.
you don't detect it. So Jess, Seraphina, just like very surreptitiously gets rid of this pamphlet. She doesn't pocket it, but as far as you're aware, Lucius, she's pocketed it.
I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to tell people that the light can guide them in these dark times. The light that is all around us.
Yeah,
I just want to get
sunshine.
rid of the shadows.
Got it.
Do you not feel
this
sometimes that everything is just too much? And it'd be so much better if the light could just show you the way?
I love actually finding my own way. I'm perfectly happy doing that at all times.
That's nice. The light does like to guide people in their own ways sometimes.
Yeah. So you have fun with your whole light thing. It sounds like a great whole thing that you've got going on. I'm going to keep doing my thing that is separate from that. We're good, right?
Yeah. He kind of just wanders off.
All right. So as Lucius, you walk off, Seraphina, you watch this dude walk off. We will cut back to Zara and Zachariah, the two Z's.
Zara has kind of let Zachariah lead, even though Zachariah doesn't know where he's going, and done that thing that you do when someone's leading who doesn't know where they're going, where you kind of just nudge them in the right direction occasionally.
What? This way, is it? Good. Right, onward.
Yes, you're right. This way. Yeah, just around the, yeah.
Good, good. And as he walks, he's kind of like just randomly like tapping doors and like bits of wall as he's not all there. Right?
And Zara
yeah,
is
good.
watching this with utter amusement.
Good, good. Okay, check one. Excellent, very strong.
What are you checking for?
What? No, nothing. Nothing at all.
Oh.
Just a stick. Helps me walk. I can't quite see there. Helps me keep my bearings. What?
Do you have a name, strange friend?
Oh, no, it is. How terribly rude of me. I'm Zachariah Tane. And, you are?
Zara Oslo.
Zara Oslo. Ooh, sounds very, very important.
No, not really.
Oh.
Just an astrologer. But a very good one.
And a friend of a clockmaker, was it?
Yes.
Good. Good. They make a good lunch and a good clock, does he?
He does. We're working on something, actually. And for some reason, Zara just wants to tell Zachariah everything. Even though normally she's a fairly guarded person, something about this man just has her telling him everything. We're working on this new device. It's for measuring the stars. You see, when the end didn't happen, it should have. Everything said it should have. But maybe we just measured something wrong. So we're making something more accurate.
It's a very interesting idea.
There's a strange new church in the district. Can you hear its bells? Sounds like a whistle.
There's always a strange new something from those god-bothering fools.
I've always liked the churches, though. They're always
Oh,
pretty
yes.
buildings. don't you think?
Sir, if you took money from every corner of the world, you'd have pretty buildings too, dear. You wouldn't have to be clockmaking down this disgusting alleyway.
And she looks down the alley, and in her head she's like, I quite like this alley, actually. I thought it was quite nice. He's just on the bend, and it's one of these weird winding streets where it should be on a grid, but there's just a weird kink, and the building kind of bulges out, and it's got like smoke darkened windows, but even from like outside, as we get near the door, you can just hear this hum of just ticking clocks.
And Zachariah will sort of stroll forward and obviously start hearing this hum. And just tap the outside of the building. Yes. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. Yes, very good. What? This one is it? And he'll just bolt, like go to open the door and walk straight in as if it was his house.
Okay, so you just throw open the door, Zachariah, and you are greeted with just the cacophonous sound of clocks ticking. But they're not ticking in sync. These clocks there's so many that it's tick, 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 tick. And it's a lot. And you hear the mechanical sort of the movement of the clockwork. And it's not overwhelming. And in fact, if you're in the right mood for it, it could be quite soothing. And you hear the pendulums swinging. And you could see, like brass little pendulums catch the light, and you see all sorts of different types of clocks, from huge grandfather clocks to just small little desk ones, to all sorts of just everywhere. And one just, you hear like some doors spring open, and you see a little mechanical bird come out with a cuckoo, 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 back in again. You hear the chimes going off at random times, and you see, working at a bench, you see an older man, and he looks up at you, and he puts a little pair of half-moon spectacles on his nose. Oh, hello, sir. Can I help you?
And Zachariah will have walked in, and it's at this point you kind of notice he stands up a little straighter now. He doesn't quite seem as weak as he did outside. I hear you make good lunch. Almost as good as your clocks.
Who have you been talking to? He says with a smile.
That would be me, Freud.
Zara. Hello, darling. You all right?
Hi, Freud. Zachariah is going to be one of my new clients. I'm to read his future in the stars after lunch. I asked the coin, and the coin said that he would be joining us for lunch.
Did it now? You don't suppose the coin could have given me a heads up?
You know what coins are like, fickle things.
Yeah, he gives you sort of like a wink, because it's really no bother. And he says...
And she relaxes.
And he says, right this way, come on. And he leads you through to like the back area, like the workshop, quieter area, personal area of the store. And he already has like a little basket made up with like some sandwiches in it and a few bits of fruit. And there's like a pitcher of wine that he has. And he says, he turns to Zachariah and says, I'm terribly sorry, sir. I had no idea you were to be joining us, but by all means. And he like sort of chops up the sandwiches so they're more like little finger sandwiches than like halves of bread. And he sort of tries to make the best of the spread that he can. And he pulls out 2 chairs and finds his own chair from somewhere else.
So Zachariah will just like immediately grab one of the chairs and lower himself in, not sort of sprightly, but not particularly frailty. If there's any kind of bits of bread that he didn't get round to cutting up, Zachariah will just grab one of the huge bits of bread or sandwich and just immediately start stuffing it in his face.
Yeah, it's like 2 full slices of bread, and he kind of looks. And Zara, Freud, you've known him for quite some time. And there's just a little sad look that briefly crosses his face, like, oh. Before he comes back with his own chair and he sits down and he takes one of the little finger sandwiches and nibbles on it a little and says, "So, how are you keeping, Zara?"
Mostly trying to keep out of the rain and out of everybody's way.
It's not very good for business, staying out of everyone's way. Can't read fortunes if, you don't
Well, that's
see
the
anyone.
thing, isn't it? We were wrong, apparently. Now no one believes anything we say.
That is true. That is true. So what are you doing about it?
Apparently meeting delightful men in the marketplace and offering them new fortunes.
Well, far be it from me to sound like a judgmental parent.
Actually-
Wait, your father?
No.
No.
Oh, thought that was odd. You don't look anywhere near old enough, sir. Yes.
And he does like a very polite chuckle.
Zachariah just grabbed some wine. You know, she's... very good wine. She's promised me the sorrow and the truth for just 1 brass penny.
Is that right, Zara? 1 brass penny.
That was the deal that we made. And she's trying to remember how she ended up agreeing to that.
I just see just a smirk on Zachariah's face.
And you can tell if Freud is kind of trying to get your measure, Zachariah. He's kind of looking you over. So tell me, sir. By the way, Freud, and he puts out a hand to introduce himself.
Oh, sorry. Zachariah Tane. Lovely. Pleasure.
He tries not to flinch at the sandwich remains that are on your hand that you wiped off on yourself. Keeps a very straight face. What brings you to this part of town? Beyond lovely Zara here, of course.
Well, I just wanted a few supplies before heading back. I needed some meats and some vegetables and a little sustenance, and lovely Zara here seemed to have had a bit of bother in the square, and now we have lunch. So I'm counting off 2 birds with 1 brass penny.
I see. And he kind of turns to you, Zara, and quirks an eyebrow.
I nearly forgot. Jimmy Ears needs a new set of his... And she got Zachariah tools.
Already?
What
does that boy do with them?
I
Alright.
told him I would get them from you rather than him come here.
It's probably wise. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. The less riffraff we have around here, the better. And he kind of laughs, like, mockingly at you. But he gets up and he disappears into a drawer and sort of shuffles around a bit and hands you a small sort of like leather pouch. There you go. I assume he'll pay you, yes?
Of course. And I'll bring you your payment. And she kind of holds the leather pouch. And it's obvious that when he'd commented on riffraff that like it kind of hit her a little bit, and she's like trying not to let it bother her.
Mm-hmm. And he sits back down and eats his sandwich. And there's a kind of awkward silence as he eats and as you eat. And he's kind of looking around. It's just the horrible sounds of Zachariah chewing his sandwich. So, Zara, is there anything else that I can help you with today? Do you need anything?
Oh, no, lunch is great. And she's become kind of distracted as that silence had been kind of overwhelming, and she'd been trying to ignore the chewing sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And she's listening to the clocks. Are they normally like this?
No. Only recently they've started falling out of sync. I don't know why.
Why
There's
would
nothing wrong with the
clockmakers'
mechanisms.
clocks be out of sync?
I don't know. I've checked the cogs. I've checked all the workings. They should be perfect. They're all oiled. There's
You don't
no
even know a
discrepancies.
system, do you?
No.
Oh, I was just remembering how Peter liked to make jokes.
Sorry, I find myself without a sense of humor when it comes to my clocks. Something is happening. And I'm not sure. Maybe you weren't so wrong after all, Zara. Maybe the end times are coming.
Should have been.
And he looks past, maybe they're coming at 3, 4, or 9 o'clock.
Where is it?
Sorry, Zachariah just sort of brushes a bit of food off and looks up.
And it is another option you failed to consider.
And that is?
You just haven't wound up your clocks. But
And then grabs the pitcher of wine, carries on drinking.
Perhaps that's it. Perhaps I'm just foolish, seeking answers where there are none. Who knows?
There was something mentioned at the guild meeting last week.
Yes.
I don't know how far we can trust it. It was from a questionable source, but they think someone's tampered with the end of the world.
Tampered? How so?
Well, it was supposed to arrive when we predicted. Art, science, maths, magic, it all pointed to that date. And if it didn't arrive, then something must have stopped it, diverted it, changed it.
But who?
I don't know. It's ludicrous. Nothing has that amount of power. You can't stop all of those signs.
Can't you?
Well, what could you imagine that would have that kind of power?
Need I remind you, Zara, of all the power one holds in faith?
Faith strong enough to change your clocks? Freud.
I've heard stranger stories.
And Zara her posture sags and she sinks a little lower in her seat and she swipes up the wine glass meant for her and she takes a drink and she's in a bratty kind of mood.
Mm-hmm. Zara, never forget, for as much as you and your mother believed in all these stories, in the art, in the science, in the stars, there are those that believe just as strongly, if not more so, in other things. That belief has power, Zara.
Even the religions agreed. Most of them. They were the only ones actually that didn't entirely agree. But they're not art or science or maths.
They're not.
They're things that
They are
people make up
beliefs.
sometimes.
They are beliefs nonetheless. I know it's not tangible, it's not something you can see, feel, read, or listen to, but it is very real.
Zara pulls down part of her headband and covers her eyes and lays her hands flat on the table, feels over the wood grain, and she's going to attempt to use Witch Sight, and she wants to see if these clocks have been tampered with by magic. She's looking for an explanation, and the most simple one to deal with right now is what's messing with the clocks.
Okay, so roll me that incantation test.
Okay. Let me look here at my sheet. My incantation is 54. That's my goal.
54, and this is just a standard test.
And I'd like to take the channel ritual action to try and, really focus for her and try and make this more likely. This means I have to roll 1 chaos die, I believe, as I increase my chance by 10%. Alright. So. That would be a fail.
Oh my god, Charlie, come on.
My characters are never going to do magic in the system.
Okay, so do you still have to roll it even if it failed?
I do. But what I was gonna say is I'll roll that in a second, but I would also like to use one of the fortune tokens for a reroll.
Okie doke.
So should I do the reroll first, or should I do the chaos dice and then we'll reroll and we'll do it?
Do the reroll first, and then we'll do your chaos die. Alright,
so the goal remains, what did I say, 64? Yeah.
I think it was 64. Hey!
42, the answer to everything.
It is.
A chaos die.
And
we just don't want this to be a 6. 2.
Ooh, okay. Damn it. I wanted it to be a 6. Okay, so you pull down the scarf over your eyes. You close those eyes. You plant your hands on the table. You feel the grain. What does witch sight look like to you, Zara? How does it manifest?
So it gives that kind of pale blue glow in the dark kind of effect to things. As she stares through that fabric, through that darkness, that absence of seeing things, she sees again the space. And generally things that are affected by magics will illuminate in this way. If there is, I think it's the undead as well. I will double check this. They will also appear. So the mechanical, for anyone wondering, after successfully casting this spell, you can visually determine if an object or person is imbued or under the influence of magic. Naturally, since dark magic flows within the unliving, you can also detect creatures that is classified as supernatural. Zara was focusing on the clock, very specifically.
Okay, so
it does last for 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay, so you focus and you're looking towards the clocks. And Zachariah, this is kind of a strange sight for you, as just, as you're finishing off your gulp of wine, this young woman next to you just covers her eyes, mutters some incantations, and suddenly she's sort of looking around, but she has this scarf covering her eyes. And Zara, you focus on the clocks and you're looking for any hint of magical interference with these. And it's strange. You've used this spell before. You know what something directly affected. You tested it. You've had back at the guild, you've tested this ability of yours. You know what things directly affected with magic look like. But this is a sort of aura, not a sort of direct illumination. It's sort of just a strange aura, and it doesn't just permeate the clocks. It permeates everything.
Just doesn't make any sense. And she snatches that cloth from her eyes and blinks. Everything in here is touched by magic, but not as if someone's gone around and touched it with magic. Sorry, I feel like I've rather read lunch.
What do you mean it's been touched by magic, Zara? You know me, I don't have anything to do with that.
I don't know, it's just everywhere. And she kind of pans across the Great Wall of Clocks, and then I think her eyes go to Zachariah, who's probably still eating, I imagine, Jay?
Now he probably has started eating again, but during, he would have been watching Sarah quite intently, not worried or concerned, but just completely curious and interested in what she was doing. But now he's stuffing his face again. Magic, you say?
Yes.
And what was that little nap you just had?
Do you ever have that problem when your mind is so full of things that you can't concentrate on anything? Well,
Yes,
when
my
I
dear.
was a little girl, I always had this problem, or at least that's what my mother would tell me. She said, you're trying to think about too many things at once. You need to stop. You need to think about one thing, and then the next, and then the next, not everything at once. And she would take the band from her hair and cover my eyes and ask me about the first thing I thought of in the dark. And then after a while, she began to teach me how to see things. I told you she was a doomsayer. And I'm an astrologer. It's part of how I see the signs. Sometimes people come to you and they want to know why something keeps happening to them. Sometimes it's just that they've pissed off the wrong hedgewise. They've had something put upon them, a hex. And it's easier to tell them that than to spend 6 hours poring over star charts looking for the answer. The truth. That's what I deal in. Sometimes the truth needs a little bit of magic.
You should be careful playing with that, my dear. You don't want to, how did you put it? Piss off a hedgewise. Doomsayer, your mother, was she?
Yes.
And you just an astrologer or a doomsayer also?
Just an astrologer. I haven't finished my qualifications yet.
You don't need to be qualified to say it's the end of the world, dear.
Well, actually, that's kind of the point of the guild, is we tried to be qualified and to seek the real answer. And never mind. She kind of hits that point where it's like, and we were wrong somehow.
I wouldn't pay too much heed to guilds, churches, clubs. If you want to know the end of the world, dear, you just need to look in the right places. Sounds like you have a bit of sight in you as it is.
Tell me again, what is it that you do, Zachariah?
Oh, me, I'm just a humble hunter, old in my years.
But you've traveled and seen the world.
I've been around enough. Enough of life has passed me by to know I don't care a great deal for most of it. That's why I despise coming into this city unless I absolutely have to, and yet, well, today it's gifted me with you. And this truth you so wonderfully promised me.
You're right. Let me, I'll go to the guild and get my books and I'll come back here.
Freud
Good.
kind of gives you that look of, please don't leave me alone with him.
And she gives him a pleading look of, please, I don't want to take him to the guild.
And he sort of sighs. He says, I'm sure Mr. Zachariah and myself can find something to chat about while you're gone.
I'm sure we can.
That was so sinister.
I'm just a friendly old man.
You are a true delight. I promise
Okay.
it won't take me very long.
Good.
All right.
I hear the world is ending. Hurry up.
And with that, Zara leaves the clock shop. So, unless there's anything anybody super seriously wants to do right now, I am going to go ahead and skip us to the end of this day. Unless there's anything major that anybody wants to do right now. Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Works for me.
Finish the wine, and that's it.
Yep, have a really awkward conversation with Freud.
Yeah.
I would like to roll to read Zachariah's stars using my tradecraft.
Absolutely, let's do it.
That's the only thing I'd like to do.
Okay.
I just give out the rest of my pamphlets.
You do. You hand out all of your pamphlets today. It's been a good day, Lucius.
My tradecraft goal is a 54.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh.
So nice.
Okay. Is there a consequence for a crit failure?
Not that I'm aware of, but I am welcome to narrative consequences if you would like.
Okay. So what does this look like? As you're trying to read Zachariah's stars, his future, what's that look like?
So she comes in with one of those great big tubes and a hefty tome, and she's kind of covering it all with her cloak, trying to keep it dry. She lays it out the sheet with the stars all marked on this giant vellum map, and then she's got the book, and it's a long list. It's like an accountant's docket. It's just numbers and after numbers in columns, and she's flicking through, and she periodically will ask Zachariah a question about the place of his birth and various other kind of points in his life where he was, times that are significant, etc., etc. And she's trying to find the pattern that will give her just like a row of numbers, and that essentially generates kind of like a new dooming, if you like. It's a similar process for her.
Okay, so you lay out all of this information. Zachariah, as she asks you these questions about your birth, important places to you, important people, important things, are you being truthful in your answers?
Oh, I'm giving half-truths. So, vague regions where I might have been. I might say I've been to certain areas of the world, but not at the times I say I've been there. I may say I know certain people, or certain types of people, but change their names. So it's all, if you actually went to trace it, you wouldn't find anything, but it would be enough to convince someone that I'm being truthful to what I'm saying.
Okay, so as you take all this information on board, Zara, and you're sort of trying to calculate these things and trying to make all of this work to read this man's this stars, this future, none of it is adding up. Just none of it is making sense to you. Even simple things just aren't coming to you, and it's frustrating, and just none of it makes sense.
And she looks up after she's kind of hit that frustration point where the numbers are just not balancing, and there's a bright spark of like anger in her eyes as she looks at Zachariah, and her like vision narrows, and she stares again at those frown lines and then down at the book. Are you sure about this? This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make any sense at all. And then the cuckoo goes off for like the 6th time in the last 10 minutes. And she like scrunches up the piece of parchment she'd been working on, just throws it at the bird that's haphazardly dead to reappear in the middle of her work.
Yeah. And Freud's like, hey!
Sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. And she's going to go through to his back room and just leave the space. Just as if she owns the shop. She just goes to the back room.
And Fred's he picks up the parchment and he kind of like tuts and looks at Zachariah, and he's like, I'd give her 5 minutes. She gets like this sometimes.
And on the paper it says, the smudge of black in the swan is eaten by the great snake, and then vomited by the weasel that runs around the tree. And it kind of is like this string of nonsense micro phrasings.
And Freud just kind of pockets it. So we will now fade out to the early evening. And Seraphina, you are you're packing up after the day. You carried on drumming in the square for a while after the dancer had left. You know, you might as well get a couple of pennies if you can. You know, there's always people walking around. There's a chance, right? And the rain kind of let up a bit. But you note that people are starting to clear out, and windows are getting shutters brought over them. The churches themselves, the cathedrals, the great stained glass windows are starting to get covered with huge, big shutters, which always kind of are there all the time. They're closed over now. And you can see the streets are starting to empty with people, and part of your brain clicks, oh shit, tonight is the night of the hunt. This is the night where the sort of grand collective of the churches, they release a beast into the streets to be hunted by the devoted, as a sort of sacrifice, as a sort of like pledge to their deities. But they all sort of group together to do this. And usually, your everyday folk stays off the streets, because if you're caught by this beast, or even the hunters, when they're in this hunting fervor, there's a good chance you'll probably end up dead. So part of you clicks like, oh, that's why everybody's going home so early. So, what would you like to do?
When she remembers it, Seraphina probably has a spot that she likes to go to when the hunt happens, so that she can still like perform her duties as a skald, but stay out of the way so that she doesn't get caught up in the hunt. But sometimes people are willing to like throw her some coin for like her encouragement during the hunt. So she tries to find a spot where like maybe like on a rooftop or somewhere that's somewhat central, but out of the way enough she won't get caught in the crossfire, but can still like keep the music playing so that like she can try to raise money still, because this is what she does.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you are nothing if not experienced of drumming in a melee, in a war zone, in a hell, basically. So you try and you seek out the spot, and you manage to find like a decent enough place. You see a couple of people hold up, and you kind of, you get set up and ready. The hunt is a way off yet. It's when it gets dark is when it starts, and it's heralded by the ringing of the bells. But for the time being, you are safe, you're secure, you're all set up, you're ready to go. Zachariah, you've had an interesting morning, an interesting afternoon. You've met a lovely young woman who seemed very frustrated that she couldn't deliver on her promise to tell you your future. Now, why are you outside on the night of the hunt?
I want to observe and simply watch the evening's goings on. Essentially, to see if there's anything that takes my interest that I want to get involved in, or assist with, or poke my nose into. But just as an observer.
Okay, so you're gonna like not cloister yourself away. You're just like, I want to see this shit go down.
Yeah, I'm gonna be, in the corner, like in some alleyway somewhere, just slightly off, just watching. Hang on, wait.
Wait, what?
There we go.
There we go. Hood up in a corner, in a dark alleyway, waiting for the bells. You figure out probably the best place. Do you want to watch it kick off, or are you gonna wait until it's like a little way into the hunt, or do you want to be there as the thing is released?
I will let it happen, and then it's like if you imagine like the bull run in Pamplona. I won't be there at the start. I'll be a little way down the track so that I can see what happens and where it goes, and sort of like be going parallel to it all.
Yeah, you can laugh at the people that get God. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
Right. All right. So Jordan, Why is Lucius caught outside on the night of the hunt?
Lucius doesn't think that the night has anything that the light should fear from it, so he is walking outside as he always does, looking at the shadows, trying to understand their nature and how the light will one day get rid of them.
I see. So you're pretty comfortable in this darkness. You don't fear the hunt itself or the hunters because you're pretty secure in yourself and the fact that the light will.
The light will protect me. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So you are pretty I think you're just going about your business, just chilling, just having a good night, a little peaceful walk, unperturbed. And as you walk past, there's people. You see like a woman sort of corralling a couple of kids and trying to get them into a building. And she's like, what are you doing outside? You should get in. It's going to start soon.
And I go for it, like, this is the best place to go. And I give her one of the pamphlets that have the warehouse address on it. This is always safe during the hunt.
And she kind of takes it and looks at it. Are you sure? You swear?
I swear. The light
All right,
always
kids.
protects against the hunt.
Thank you, sir. And then she takes these kids and they start making their way towards the warehouse. Okay.
Perfectly
Jordan,
nice warehouse.
Okay. So they start heading off, scurrying duck, using the alleyways to get there. Charlie, why is Zara caught outside during the night of the hunt?
I think she ended up staying later at Freud's than she'd intended, calming down, and then she'd gone back to the charts after Zachariah had left and tried again. And then she'd worked a bit with Freud on the device, but she kept coming back to those charts, trying to figure out where she was going wrong. Because some part of her just can't not believe what Zachariah said to her. For some reason, she has 100% trust in this man. So it's something she did wrong. And then she looks out those kind of smoked up windows and can see, like, it's actually pitch black out there. And then she opens the door. Oh, no, it's nighttime. And then she remembers she's got those picks, lock picks. And so she goes down to the square to go and find the guy to hand them off to. Because she wants to get paid because she needs to cover some lodgings and maybe another meal tonight. Because she can't just keep eating at Freud's all the time. As much as she does eat at Freud's all the time.
Yeah.
I think the riffraff comment is like replaying in her head, and she's like, I'm gonna go make the money, I'm gonna prove to Freud that I'm a sensible individual who can do her job. So she's gone to go and meet, what do they call him? Jerry Ears? Is that what I call him?
Jerry Ears, I believe.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So she goes to go meet Jerry Ears. This is why Charlie isn't allowed to name anything.
It's fine. Last time I had to name someone on the spot, I angrily shouted John at you, so...
That's a good name to shout in anger. John!
Basically how it went. Anyway, so, Zara, you start heading towards the square, and there's a part of your brain that registers weirdly quiet. Nights are usually quiet, but this is unusually quiet. And it's not until you get into the square and you see that there is a huge cadre of people all holding torches, clad in dark hoods and long cloaks. And in the center, there is a huge iron cage that is kind of covered with a tarp. But you can hear a low sort of growling coming from within it. A very, very deep, guttural, sort of breathy growl. And you see one of these people step forward and lift the tarp. And as it does, you see the whole cage shake. And you hear this sort of like somewhere between a roar and a growl and a bark from a dog just echoes around this square. It's almost deafening. It's so loud. And part of your brain goes, fuck. This is the hunt.
And then there's another part of her brain that is like, I've seen this thing before. And she kind of feels herself drawn towards the cage, even though she kind of shivers and shudders every time that beast rattles against the bars. And she's slowly like pushing her way through the crowd. She has to be sure. She thinks this is a thing. There's this weird like gut feeling that seems to be driving her all day today. And she's kind of getting closer and closer. She has to be sure. Nothing today has made any sense. So maybe this is the thing.
Okay, and you edge forward and push your way through the little crowd that is assembled, and you get a peek of what you see under the tarpaulin. Do you want to describe this creature, Charlie? Do you want to make this beast?
No, Susanna, I do not. I think that I think what would be fun actually is if we all added one descriptor each to this beast, so we all make the beast.
Yeah, do it. Okay. So,
Right.
Charlie, you start.
So we already know it's got some sort of canine qualities to it. But I think as she gets closer, Zara can see there are great patches along its body where it's not just skin that's exposed beneath, but it's the muscle and the sinew, and you can see the gleam of white bone where this creature doesn't have skin covering these portions of its body. And it's just the way it is. It hasn't been flayed. That's just how those sections of its body are.
All right. Jess.
In some parts it has almost like bone spurs, but just like thick like bones protruding from its skin as like dangerous spikes. That's how it gores people, with all of its
Spines.
spiky bits.
All right. Jordan. Come on, let's go out. Let's have some brand.
So the creature has this canine kind of body, and it's kind of hunched down. It's kind of like its shoulders up like this as it looks through the cage, and it turns, and its mouth goes forward more than you think it would for the size of its body, and its lips, as it turns and looks at the cage, they peel back like petals of like a black glistening flower, and inside its teeth are like going in spirals inside, but they seem like they're different size teeth. Like the tooth that you can obviously, that's a fangs from something, but this other one's like a square molar. It's almost like it has teeth from many other creatures in its mouth, and that mouth starts to judder and crack as the bone splinters as it gets bigger.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sleeping tonight. Hey Jay, do you wanna round up this nightmare?
Yeah, it wears a crown of flowers.
Oh.
So
Get inside the bear.
Yeah. At the end of its body, so behind its hind legs, extends out this tail that has like I was gonna say ablative, but I'm pretty sure that's a Star Trek word. But like the almost armor plating that's just layer on layer on layer on layer, like scales ticking back across its tail. And at the end of it, on the tail, on the underside, is another eye that bleeds. And just stays at the back of the tail.
Okay.
And its name is Steven.
Yeah.
This is way worse than anything I would have ever dreamed up. You're all disturbed. But Zara, you get a peek of this creature. And it seems to look at you.
And I think she's transfixed, and for the briefest of moments, I think her witch sight, like the brief flash, kicks in, and like it illuminates this creature within her own mind, and she sees all of these details in real stark contrast to the gloom of the gloom, of like this market space, and she's just stuck, staring back at this creature as it looks at her. Just frozen.
So as you're stuck frozen staring at this creature, and its eyes almost inquisitively stare through you, you feel just this gaze pierce through you. You are only vaguely aware of the people with torches advancing on the cage. You hear a man climb on top. You hear the clanking of chain and the 1, 2, 3 as the chain is heaved and the front of the cage raises up, and you now see this flash of movement. It moves unnaturally fast as spined hands claw at the bars, and it propels itself out of the cage. There are screams and gasps from the crowd gathered, and you watch Zara as it spins around and with one of the clawed hands just grabs a person and just eviscerates them. There's a splatter of gore and a scream and a gurgle as this person's remains are just deposited on the floor. And the people bearing torches circle around and try to just push it back. It seems to be somewhat afraid of the fire, and they just push it away from the crowd.
And she swallows hard, and she feels that warm splatter of blood on her face as that guy is eviscerated right next to her. And as the creature is slowly pushed back, she unclenches her fists, and her nails have been driven into her palms. And she takes a couple of steps back, almost a mirror to this beast. But there's still a part of her that, for some reason, wants to understand. There's a question about this thing. And it's not what is it, it's a why type question. She's just not sure exactly what it is. And she's kind of slowly drifting back in the square, and so in the opposite direction from the crowd, but she's still very there, and her eyes are just locked on this creature.
All right. Okay, so as this thing is pushed out of the square, the church bells, all of them at once, begin ringing, and it is cacophonous, it is overwhelming, and you see the creature sort of shrink down for a moment as this just sound fills its ears. It raises its head and lets out a shriek before it sets off sprinting into the city, and the hunters with the torches give chase after it with a cheer. And Zara, you are stood in the square, backing away, trying not to think about the person that is splattered across your face right now. Okay. Seraphina, you got yourself set up. You are not too far away from the square. You know they're probably going to run through here. They have done a couple of hunts before. This is a very open, sort of wide street. This is like a great alley. And you are ready. And you see this beast, you hear its roar, and it seems to echo throughout the whole city. That's when you know it's been released. You hear the bells not long after, and you see it it's got a very awkward gait. It seems to pull itself along with its arms and its feet as it sort of just lopes down the street towards you. I would like you to roll me a stealth check, please.
Oh, geez. All right, I need to get below 42.
All right.
And as you roll that, I'm going to open up another giveaway in chat for another set of tabletop loot dice. Thank you for the retweets. Thank you for the subs.
I would like to use a fortune token.
That would be wise.
And I'm going to re-roll that. That is much better.
All right. Okay. So
I don't get murdered by this thing.
I need to make the roll for the creature. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I don't. Can you please re-roll that?
I'm sorry. It's not personal. I swear.
You said that you weren't going to bully me this time, Susie.
It's not me, it's Fantasy Grounds.
You said.
Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice.
We love you. I love you. You help me kill my players. Okay, so this thing seems to see you, Seraphina, as you're you try and duck down behind a balcony. It doesn't seem to work. and you hear it put back its head and let out another one of these roars. It's guttural, it's primal. It seems like a mixture of a whole different bunch of animals all in one. And you will see, you feel the wind rush as a big spined hand comes to hit you. Can you roll me like a dodge check, please? And please make the dodge check. Please don't die. Does that do it?
What is dodge under?
Is
it?
Hang on. It is your coordination. Yes.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Okay, so this spined, it's somewhere between a paw and a hand. Like the thumb is back here, but it's covered in like huge claws and horrible, nasty spines, which you described. It's your fault. Swipes at you, and you hear it make contact with the masonry, and you like feel chunks of brick just sort of fall down upon you, like scatter on you. And it sort of, again, as it misses and makes contact with the building, it screams. And let me see what else I can do. 1 second. Where's my little guide? I would like you to... Oh, no, I need to make an intimidate check. Oh my god, I'm rolling like an actual god. Okay, you now suffer -1 to your damage and peril threshold right now. You are afraid of this creature as this scream sinks to your very core. And it is gonna just move on after it does that.
Thank you.
Sorry, just, you know. Gotta do my thing. But you feel that this was almost it. You were almost dead. You're almost done. As this creature mercifully seems to have lost interest in the food that was difficult for it to gather.
Time to go drink.
So what do you do now? What would you like to do?
She'll Seraphina's gonna continue drumming now that the creature has gone by, because now probably part of what scared it off was the people coming. So now that the crowd is coming, she'll continue drumming as the bulk of the crowd goes by. But as soon as it thins out enough that she doesn't feel like she'd be in danger trying to get through it, she's gonna go find a place to drink, because somewhere has got some pub somewhere is still open.
Yeah, you know for a fact there are some pubs that are still open. It's kind of like one of those come if you dare nights, right? And some pubs run like that. Some pubs market themselves as a safe haven during the hunt. Okay, do you need to make a performance or anything like that for your ability? If you're gonna drum as a skald, is there anything you need to do for that?
I think it's only when I'm doing it in battle with allies.
Gotcha. All right, no worries then. So as you see these hunters come past, and there are a bunch of whole different folks. There's people who clearly this is their bread and butter. They've come armed to the teeth. They're wearing metal armor. They have helmets and are wearing breastplates and have proper looking gear. And then you've got a couple of people that just seem to be someone that's grabbed a pitchfork. Some dude who thinks he's handy with a shovel has come along, and they're clearly not wearing armor. They're clearly not ready for warfare or battle. And accompanying them, you see priests of all the different orders of the city. They're kind of trailing behind the main hunters, and you can hear them singing and exalting their gods in their different languages and crying out their prayers. There's a couple of people flagellating behind. It's a procession. It's real macabre to look at, but it's what they do every year. It's just just a thing. I would like you to roll me a stealth check, however, to get your way to this pub.
All right. Need below a 42. Nice. 16.
Nice. All right. Okay, let me. Right. Okay. How could I possibly be blamed for this? This isn't me. Okay. Anyway.
Just be glad she's not using a misfortune and, shopping for a 1 or something. Because knowing her, she'd get one.
So you head out into the darkness, sticking to alleyways and places are usually pretty safe. We cut to Zachariah. You hear this procession coming before you see it. You have heard the cries of the beast. You've heard the bells. You haven't seen the beast just yet. But you can hear a group of people coming forward. You hear the chanting, the calling, the singing. What would you like to do?
I'm going to regret this immediately. He will kind of exit out of the shadows and want to just do that thing where I just sort of slide in amongst a group that's walking past, as if I've just been walking with them all along. Just this old man who's just come along. Oh, I always watch The Hunt, so yes, of course I do. And just wants to kind of merge and walk along with them for a second.
All right, roll me a guile test. That is under fellowship.
Fellowship. Oh, good. My highest one.
Yeah. Never mind. Guile.
Guile. Oh God. Okay. This is definitely going to end well. Don't worry, gang.
And this is actually gonna be challenging. So with your result that you're looking at right now,
yeah,
take 10% off of that.
Oh God, I need to roll really well. All right. Oh, that is such a fail.
I don't think that's gonna do it. So you can spend a token should you wish to re-roll.
Yes, I will. I've got to get such a low number, but we'll give it a go. Basically, under 25 is what I need.
You can do it.
Oh!
Is your target 25?
My target is 25.
Okay, so the way this works, if you hit your target or under it, you succeed. So let me do my test, see if they... Look, I can roll high. Look at that.
Yay!
I saw that, Jess. Do you know what? Actually, I've got all these tokens here. Let me re-roll that. Sorry, Jay.
Why? Why 45. Would you do this to me?
Okay. All right. So you sort of slide in to this group, and you sort of merge in with the priests, because you're kind of dressed with some loosish robes. That's your best bet of blending in. You don't look like one of the fighters or one of the peasants with the pitchfork. So this is your spot, and you slide in.
Yep.
And one of them kind of looks at you suspiciously, but carries on, keeps walking forward.
So this doesn't end well. What I want to do is work my way towards somebody who does have a weapon, who is looking that they want to take down this beast. Maybe they're maybe they're a leader of a group of fighters, and I just want to get close to them, not make contact or anything, just maneuver myself so that I'm near to them.
Okay, so you sort of walk up to one person, and nobody in chat at me. They're wearing a long black leather coat. They have a black tricorn hat on. They're carrying what appears to be a pistol in one hand and a sword in the other. And as you walk up next to them, they sort of give you a nod.
It's time for the hunt, yes?
It is, yeah.
And what I want to do is I'm gonna I'm gonna try a spell.
Okay.
I just need to double check whether or not I have to Okay, yeah. So the guy with the pistol, does he have the pistol out, or is it in the holster still, or?
No, he's holding it in one hand, in his left.
Okay. So what I will do is I will hunch myself over, making sure I look like extra old and frail, and I'll just sort of reach a withered hand up to his hand that's got the pistol, and just sort of tap his hand, but my thumb is just going to touch a part of the pistol, and I'll say, I wish you very good hunting. This is quite the beast. And I want to try and curse his pistol.
Okay. Let's have an incantation check.
Oh god, which one's that? So that's under willpower. Okay.
And if you use the channel action, you have to roll a chaos dice, but it does make it a little bit easier.
Okay. What did I just say? Willpower, didn't I?
Yes.
Over here.
Yep.
Willpower
Right.
incantation.
You have a mark in incantation, so I'm looking at a sheet right now. You need to roll
Yep.
under 52.
All right, under 52. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my god. I'm old.
There's 2 tokens left.
Yeah, I'm going to use one because I really want this to work.
Do the channel, Jay. You can crank up your odds.
Oh, there we go. That'll do.
That'll do.
Okie dokie. So, what does this look like, this curse?
So, all your it's almost imperceptible to the eye, but my withered hand will stay gripped around his wrist with this thumb just resting on like the hilt of the pistol. And you just see almost imperceptibly like a black smoke leak out of my thumb and like wrap its way around the pistol and up to like the hammer at the back and just sink onto it and almost like brand it, but then it fades away and it just looks like a regular pistol again.
Okie dokie. And mechanically speaking, what does this curse do to this good hunter's pistol?
So basically, I can kind of choose the effect of it. And basically what I'm going to say is the second he goes to try and use this weapon, as he puts that pressure on the trigger and it goes to fire, it's going to just burn through his hand. The hilt is just going to go far hotter than the fires of hell and just immediately just burn his hand. Mechanically, it basically means, I will check the exact terms, but it's going to affect any action he tries to do with any fellowship-based things. Get a minus 10% base chance to all fellowship-based skill tests with that object.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And when he goes to use it, he now gets the curse.
This guy famously makes friends with his pistol. It's kind of what he does. We all temporarily went to hell. That's
the fire of hell. That's what the exact fire looks like on his hand.
What happened? Yeah. Sucks for him. Okay, so as you sort of step forward and walk up to this hunter, and you old man reach for his hand and curse him. The one person from the back that was sort of eyeing you suspiciously calls out, "He's not from around here. He's an outsider." And they all sort of, as they're walking, sort of turn to look at you, Zachariah, and the hunter pulls back the hand that you grasped at, and he levels it at you. Outsider, are you? Part of the hunt you are now. And you watch as he, with that hand, goes to pull the trigger, and part of you, you've just cursed him, you know that just happened, but there's still that little as the trigger is depressed. So he pulls it, and instead of the flash of gunpowder that you would see, the thing just sets alight in his hand, and he sort of screams and drops it. and like, and he's looking at this hand in horror, and everybody for a minute is kind of shocked and taken aback as this guy's hand just lit up instead of your face getting lit up. You have a moment now to do something.
I'm going to. So I'm heading out. Like the cloak, in this moment, the cloak comes up, the hood goes even further down, and I'm basically heading for the nearest alley, kind of out directly out the crowd in a straight line. But as I pass the guy on the floor with his hand burning, I will very quickly lean in his ear and just say, "As a good friend said to me today, don't piss off a hedgewise." And then I'm gone out the crowd into the alleyway.
All right, and you sprint off into the alleyway. Just as you sort of turn a couple of corners, you think you've lost them. You see a dark-skinned woman with white hair heading into like what appears to be quite a heavily fortified tavern.
I will call out to her.
Hello, good evening.
I'm not doing the hunt thing. If you're doing the hunt, just not here, please.
No, dear. I've had many years of the hunt on me. I'm looking just for a place to sit it out. Could you help an old man find someplace warm with a seat?
I take it you're not from around here.
Oh, I don't know, dear. I try and stay out of the city as much as I can these days.
And I like hunch as much as I can.
Serafina kind of like stands up tall and puts her hands on her hips like, I don't trust whatever this is. Well, I'm headed to this bar right here. This is, if you don't have a place to stay, this is as good a place as you're gonna find right now.
Oh, that'll do for me, dear.
And I'll just do that thing where I just gotta walk straight into the tavern that she's just pointed at.
All right, and so you both sort of duck into the tavern, seeking shelter from the hunt and the hunters on this blessed night in Hearthome. Lucius, you are completely unafraid of the hunt. You have nothing to worry about. This beast is nothing to you. These hunters, flesh, they're not the light. They do not protect you. What are you doing?
Just walking on the. Do I see these beasts and the hunters near me?
Yeah, you were. I think you probably are starting to come upon where they are right now. And there's actually a sort of skirmish happening between the beast and the hunters. They seem to have temporarily cornered it.
So Lucius kind of just like, almost as if he's just like bemused by what's happening, kind of walks up behind everyone, and he sees the beast, and he's like, that beast is not true. It's but a figment of the darkness. The light will show the way. And he like puts his hand out, and like he's gonna cast Rin Chaos.
Okay, so I would like you to make me an incantation check, which you will need to beat a 57.
$51.
Ooh, okay. So what does this look like?
So he kind of puts his hand out, and it, in the middle of the air, a blindingly white light like draws like a scar in the air, and then it kind of goes up until there's a small square, like almost like a door, a pure light in his hand, and he holds it up, and the shadows that cast stark angles on his face, and he points to the beast. He's kind of behind everybody. He's like, "See, the light will show us," and he like go like this, and it smashes the square of light into like shatters like glass into the air, and then all the pieces kind of like pause, hang there, and then they shoot towards the beast.
Oh, okay. All right. So mechanically speaking, what is happening right now? Like, what's the spell description?
Mechanically speaking, it is 2d10 plus WB in damage, and if it's
Okay.
abyssal, it is set on fire as well.
Okay, so roll your 2d10 and add 4 to that.
That is 14 plus 4, so 18.
18. Okay. Oh, Jesus.
And one of my
okay.
dice has a tooth inside of it.
On brand. On brand. All right. So, these shards of light just lands towards this creature. They into its horrible body, sink into every sort of just available space. They just pierce it like something's just been blasted by glass, and it screeches a horrible guttural scream and seems to like pull at itself to try and get rid of these lancing shards of light before they explode into fire on its body. And it screams again as it roars back and sort of almost falls back on itself and starts to scamper away. Like it impacts into a building, smashes through a window. You hear a family inside just start screaming as this hand just smashes through the glass as it pulls itself slowly, still on fire, onto the roof. And the hunters kind of look at you. One of them kind of looks at you very afraid, and they all sort of turn now as the beast is making its escape. Turn on you, and there's like one raggedy guy in like really just rough looking peasant clothes. He holds up like really makeshift wooden shield, and he's got his torch in the other hand. He says, "What are you?"
I am the light, come to get rid of the darkness that we're all so fearing.
You're not right. You're unnatural. Get away! Get away!
Why are you so giving into fear? Wouldn't it be great if you could just see everything and not have to fear that what's in the darkness?
And he is just gonna swing at you with this torch. And critically fails. So you stand there, stoic, just speaking to him about the light and how it will protect him, how the light will out, how if he joins you, he will be safe, no longer needing to fear. And he swings at you with this torch, but he sort of just misses, and in the slippery sort of cobblestones just eats shit and lands face first on the ground. One of his friends sort of picks him up, and they sort of begin to scarper away. But the hunters don't seem afraid of you. And you see them now begin to encroach. And there's like 10 of them. And they start to try and circle you.
Grim and Parallax Gaming has just gifted an additional 5 gift subs. We've just opened up another giveaway. So that's over in chat if you want to watch. Grim and Parallax is apparently a big fan of the light.
For the light. Okay, so I'm gonna give you like the initiative right now. You can do something in this moment. You have like 10 people rounding on you. These are heavily armed, heavily armored, very serious looking people.
First session, last session. How often can you cast spells in this system? Is there like a limit to how often you can do it?
So each spell has a sort of AP value, and you have 3 AP per turn action points.
Okay.
For the sake of like keeping things flowing, and so we can do cool stuff, I will let you cast a spell if you like, and that will cost 1 AP for you. You can only do 1 of each like thing per combat round, so you can cast a spell. You can do a perilous stunt where you do like you choke someone out or take them down. You can do a reaction, or you can do a movement.
So, he's gonna do this in 1 or 2 ways. If there's someone close to him who seems to be trying to come at him with just their hands, he's gonna wait for them to like at the last minute, as they touch him, he's gonna fire this spell off. Or if there's someone coming at the closest person has like a bladed thing, he'll try to like step in and place a hand on them. He's gonna cast Through the Labyrinth.
Okay.
And so if they were about to hit him, he was gonna let the spell go off right as they touch him, so that instead of hitting him, the door disappears and they just fall into the door and are gone from reality.
So what we need is that incantation test again. So roll a D100 and you have to beat 57.
38.
Okay, so this one hunter comes up to you and they are unusually tall. They're not human. They appear to be ogre. And they are like 8 feet tall, very broad. They're not wearing much in the way of armor, but they do have like a cloak slung over them. And they've had like a special ogre type face mask made, and it sort of accentuates the sort of facial features. It's quite frightening in a sort of low light atmosphere. And they come at you with a like a clenched fist. And then you can see as it swings at you, they've got like knuckle dusters on.
So, Lucius kind of just like almost like slowly and casually reaches into his robe and pulls out a key and just kind of pushes it sideways, not even in front of him, but just turns it in the air. And as the ogre, this guy is punching, suddenly a outline of light is in front of him, and a door swings open. But inside is like the most bright, purifying light you can think of, and the ogre just like with his follow-through swing goes into that door, and then it shuts and it's gone.
Mm-hmm. And there's like a second where as they're falling into this door, you hear them sort of scream, and it's quickly shut off into silence as the door is shut.
And Lucia's like, oh, he must have not been well with the light. The light protects those who follow it. Are the rest of you followers of the light? I think maybe you want to be.
And one guy you see sort of pulls up a scarf up over his nose, and he comes at you with an attack.
Dang it.
I am going to spend one of those misfortune tokens to reroll.
These guys are phased by nothing.
Never mind. So he swings at you, and you see there's a moment, there's like a hint of fear in his eyes as he's just seen this massive dude just get fucking vanished out of nowhere. Zara, as you sort of back up from the square and the hunt seems to progress through the streets, you sort of... Where are you going, actually? Should ask.
I think as the creature has been pushed back and then I think tears off a little bit and then gets cornered, which she can't see that because that's further down, she is actually going to try and climb up one of these larger, older buildings to get on the roof, and she's going to try and rooftop chase so she can keep eyes on this beast. She's got this clawing question, and she's not oblivious to the hunters and things, but they're not important to her. Mm-hmm. She just knows she needs to get to the beast. And as she does this, she reaches into her sack and she pulls out this old boot. The sole is flopping away from it. The laces look like they've been chewed on by questionable creatures. The leather is all kind of discolored. And she just pulls it on over one of her shoes, takes a breath and mutters the magic words. And I'm going to attempt to use the hasten spell on myself.
Ooh, all right. So let's have that incantation check.
All right. So my goal number is incantation. It's not to saying on stream again. 54.
54.
So let me open the right window. I have many, many windows in front of me. It's like looking into one of Jordan's magically cast labyrinths. Okay. Just 53.
She did it! Okay, so what does this spell look like and what does it do?
So I think the boot itself kind of seems to melt away for a moment, and there's kind of like a little jingling kind of sound that fills the air, almost like, you know, when you hear like Santa's sleigh going through the sky. Is that kind of jingle bell kind of sound. And suddenly Zara feels like an invigoration and she can move much faster than she used to. And she is mechanically, I'm gaining movement speed. But that old boot melts away and her legs are invigorated by this magic.
All right, so you clamber up onto the rooftop. Should I be evil and make you roll for that?
And then in the background, Chariots of Fire begins to play.
Or a song like Chariots of Fire for various licensing reasons.
You can make me roll to climb. That's
all right. Let's have a athletics.
All right, 40 is my goal. Is
I would say
any challenge adjustment?
With these invigorated legs, I would give you a +10 to that roll.
All right, 50. I have half a chance of succeeding. And she does.
It's like something out of Assassin's Creed. You're like, window ledge, pipe, bah, 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 and you're up. Like springing from handhold to handhold, using that new renewed energy in your legs to just hop your way up to the roof. And you get a view of the city now. You've been up on the roofs before. This is a good place to just get some quiet time. And usually the city is bright. If it's not from the cathedral district that's all lit up, a beautiful manner of colors from the stained glass to the great braziers burning in some of the temples. If it's not like the merchants district, which is always bright all day, all night. The entertainment district, which is again always bright, but everything today is dark. As everybody has cloistered themselves away to be safe, protected from the hunt. But you can see in this darkness the flash of torchlight ahead of you. A few streets over, it's easily accessible. A lot of these buildings have like sort of bridges between them almost as annexes and things connect. You can see torchlight ahead, and just beyond that, illuminated against the moon, which is large and full tonight, you see the outline, the silhouette of that beast, and a flicker of what looks like flame on it.
Yeah, so she basically is just using her turn to move.
Mm-hmm. So you sort of sprint your way across the rooftops with your very fast, gotta go fast legs. You make it there. You get across to where you saw the creature climb up. It's pretty hard to see the creature now. I'd like you to roll me an awareness test.
Okay, it's gonna be 58 as my goal.
Okay, we'll make this challenging because it's nighttime.
Okay.
And it's a city.
It's challenging is -5, which -10, sorry, which brings me to 48.
48.
My goal. Rolling those dice. 23. Oh, this game likes me.
It does. Okay, so you take a moment to really look across the city to try and find this beast, and you think you see it, but you also see, as you look down, just in the off chance that it dropped back down again, you see what looks to be an old man. You see a flash of white hair. He's surrounded by hunters, and they look like they're attacking him.
That's nice. Where's the beast?
So the beast, the beast has disappeared further into the city. You catch glimpses of it. You don't see the full beast. You don't see the full creature, but you see it as it's hopping down and around buildings.
Okay,
it seems to be coming back on
these
itself.
Hunters are dealing with this guy, and I kind of like that because that means they're not after the beast. But it seems a pretty unfair fight. So I reach into my bag and I grab the last of the wine that I took from Freud's house, and I'm just gonna drop the bottle as like a missile from above, as like a distraction to give the old guy a chance to run.
Okay, so let's call that a simple ranged attack.
I mean, truth comes from the sky, right?
In the universe.
Simple range attack. 49 is my goal. And I'm not going to aim or anything because I use all my points. 4 takes that, Hunter's ganging up on a dude.
So, Lucius, as this hunter swings for you, and they have what appears to be like a basket-hilted sword, straight sword. As it sort of swings for you, and it just like whooshes past you. You hear the air just whoosh, and you know, it kind of catches the edge of your clothing. You look at this guy's face as he looks you dead in the eye, and a bottle of wine from nowhere just drops and smashes on his head, and it's red wine, but it just mixes with like the blood red of his head, which is now exploded. As he sort of looks at you, confused, looks up before he kind of like, ugh, and drops to the ground.
And what are the other hunters
The
doing?
others are kind of holding off for the meantime. And one of them kind of steps forward to try and pull back the hunter that's just been knocked out and just try and drag him away from you. And one of them says, "We'll leave you alone. Don't follow us."
I would never follow you. The light, though, follows everything.
That's what I'm afraid of. And you watch as 2 of them pick up this guy from under the arms and they scarper out of there.
He kind of like looks up where the bottle came from.
And you see the silhouette of what appears to be a woman kind of looking over the edge.
Thank you. The light guides you.
And I think Zara, you see her like visibly lean closer, like, what did you just say? And then that head just retracts from like the edge of the roof as she's like, all right, I did the distraction. He should be running. If he doesn't, that's not on me. And she's gonna peel away. But I think like the vision of that stark white face staring up at her, and like she's slowly processing. You know when you lip read something, you're like, wait, what did they say? Is that what they said? And she's slowly processing the words as she's beginning to like move to continue what she was doing.
So you head off again in search of the beast, and you follow its tracks, and you see that now you've ended up on the roof where it had climbed up, and there is dark sort of Icarus blood on this roof, and you pick it up and you smell it, and it smells foul. But there is like a trail. Oh, it's not good. There's like, and as you're following this trail across the roofs, you see it sort of dip down into some streets, then back up the other side. Some buildings are kind of like splattered with it. There's clearly something in it is spurting. But as you kind of follow a trail, you end up in a alleyway. And you can hear the low breathing of the beast. It's very dark.
And like every idiotic woman in a horror movie ever, I creep into the alley towards the sound of the labored breathing of the beast.
You see it kind of slumped, and its arms are sort of just down, and it sort of raises its head to kind of look at you, and lets out a feeble sort of growl of warning.
And she shrinks back a little at the sound, and then glances behind her towards the entrance of the alley. Can she see any of those hunters' torchlights or hear anyone approaching?
Roll me that awareness check.
Right. I succeed. I can't remember what my target is, but I know it's higher than that.
Yeah, it's higher than 25.
58 was my target.
58. Okay. So you take a moment to like look behind you and check for hunters. You don't see any, but you do spot the strange man that you had rescued earlier, who seems to be meandering his way down the street. He doesn't seem to have a care in the world. He's not hurried. He's not looking for danger. He's just walking.
And she steps out. Who are you?
My name is Lucius. I just go where the light leads.
Are you a healer?
No. The light guides everything to where it needs to go. That
Well, then
might
I
be
hope it gets you
healing.
indoors, sir.
Why?
It's a dangerous night.
Everything is just as the light wills it, though. This is all false until the light comes.
And she frowns and looks at him like he's totally mad. But she's listening to his words. There's that academic brain that's listening to the words and is trying to like place it like, have I read this in a book anywhere? Have I heard these words before? Is this dude quoting, you know, the equivalent of Shakespeare or something? What do you want with the beast?
Only to banish it. It is a false beast.
You just said that everything is false.
Yes, but everything can become one with the light.
So you would banish everything?
No, I would let everyone live their true lives within the light.
Like I
This
said, it
beast,
is a
however,
dangerous
must
night.
change.
Change how? And she's moving more protectively over the mouth of this alleyway. She's not sure why she's protecting this beast. She's pretty sure she's terrified of what's behind her. But she's now met someone who is completely calm on a very dark and terrifying night, and that's way scarier than the growling animal down the alleyway with its more of swirling, mismatched teeth.
I don't actually seek to do anything. I merely let the light guide me and show the way that it will go. Maybe this beast came to me earlier tonight and tasted what the light has for it. I'm only seeking to bring things to their fulfillment.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But one day we'll all find out. I'm not a
Suddenly
god.
Zara really wishes that the world had ended 3 months ago.
Is the beast here?
It's hurt.
Well, it is reverting back to the nothingness it came from. Truth is getting rid of the lie of the beast. I'll finish the job, though.
No, you can't. I need it.
Okay, why?
I don't know.
It's good to know that you don't know sometimes. I don't know everything at all.
Perhaps the light that you followed is telling me to follow it and that I need the beast. She's like trying to work in his logic.
That is completely possible. Shall we go and see the beast together?
She looks him over.
And he just kind of just
What
starts
is-
walking past her, like, as he's like kind of just like assuming everything is, we're gonna go see the beast together.
Her hand comes out like against his chest to stop him. Jordan, what is like Lucius's build and form?
He is tall, but he is kind of like lanky, with very prominent cheekbones, kind of like seems almost like a tall whip of a person. He's not bulky.
And so the
Kinda
hand
like
comes
that-
up and go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, that
The hand comes
actor
up-
who was a Knight's Tale, who was like the priest, who's Chaucer, kind of like that body type.
Oh, Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the hand comes up and like stops you briefly, but then she retracts it and decides to let you down the alley, although she follows quickly and her pace is very almost startlingly quick.
All right. And so you both sort of make your way back down the alleyway, and Lucius, you see this creature now, and it's clearly injured. You think it maybe has something to do with you, with all the fire, the light you put in it. But as you approach, it screams a horrible, piercing scream and pulls itself back up into an aggressive sort of pose. And I'm going to briefly cut away from the scene to Seraphina and Zachariah. You have got yourself a little table in this tavern, and you can see there are quite a few other people in here, young, old, of all sort of races. And they are all kind of like trying to make the best of it. They have drinks, but some are like kind of huddled in a corner, and every time they hear the beast scream, they kind of or the bells ring, or people pass by the window, they kind of shirk. When you two entered, there was a palpable like gasp, and everybody kind of turned to look at you. But now you're sat here, you've got drinks. They've been provided free of charge for the night by the tavern keeper. And you hear, Seraphina, this scream, and it sounds very close. The beast is close. And you can't help but think, where is my sister tonight?
Am I thinking it just sort of like a distracted, like, oh, I hope she's okay? Or is it more of like she's up to something?
It's probably a little bit of both. You know Zara, you know she basically lives on the streets. She doesn't really have anywhere to go, but you also know that when she gets an idea in her head, then, there's no stopping her.
Seraphina will like stick around for a little bit to grab a drink. But she's sort of like keeping her eye on the door, and if there are any windows, she will sit as close to a window as she can and just try to like keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, roll me an awareness test. Sorry, Bay. No, go ahead.
I'm just going to ask if this would be noticeable to Zachariah, or if she's being sort of quite subtle with her anxiety.
Past the awareness. Just barely. She probably looks somewhat distracted, if not, maybe not anxious, just sort of like distracted, sort of like gazing out the window and kind of like leaning around looking and kind of looking again and sighing heavily.
I think Zachariah will just keep watching at this point. He's not going to say anything. He's just going to observe.
All right. So, Seraphina, you're looking out the window, and you keep looking, keep glancing, just in case. Anytime there's a hint of movement, you kind of look. And, was that her? No. But one time you look, and you catch a flash of that purple cloak that you know she wears. A flash of orangey yellow accompanying it. It's only brief.
Seraphina's already on her feet, has like pushed herself up, is already halfway out the door before she turns back, is like, I didn't even catch your name, but nice sharing a drink with you. I have to go take care of a thing.
Yeah, no, you do, you dear. Just buries his face back in his drink.
Don't do anything weird.
Yeah, I can't make any promises.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't even know you, and that sounds right.
Weren't you after somebody, dear? They're getting away.
Also, not your dear. And then she like runs out and try to find Zara.
Okay, so you throw open the door and head out into the night, and you see Zara, sort of the hint of her cloak just disappear around a corner. She's definitely somewhere nearby, but so is that beast, and you can hear it now. You can hear it scream again. But you sort of chase after the direction that she was headed in, and you see this alleyway, you see Zara stood next to the weirdo from the square earlier today. And then just beyond that, you see the beast, which has now reared itself back up. And even though it seems to be breathing heavily and bleeding from parts of it, it looks very aggressive.
Seraphina has a wooden shield that she keeps like affixed to her back when she doesn't need it, and she's going to like bring that out, pull it in front of her, and then like step forward to try to get her sister behind it as well.
Seraphina. And then she looks at the beast and she looks at Lucius. And she shifts and she wants to try and block the beast, even though the beast is now reared up and is in its most terrifying of angry cornered animal positions.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do something. And she's like out of breath. She's panicking. There are no words. Just must protect beast.
We need to get out of here. What are you doing here?
I don't know. We've got to do something.
Yeah, something like get out of this alley with the beast, right?
And in this moment, she turns to look at the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Susie, what is the beast doing?
It's kind of, again, it's adopted that very much cornered animal sort of look, but it seems to be edging very slowly forwards.
Lucius kind of squats down in the middle of the alley, kind of so he's at eye level with the beast.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I see you. It is not your fault you were created like this. Aren't you tired of people hunting you and harrying you and making you like this? This can all end. You can make this go away. But while he's doing that, he's like rolling folklore to see if he knows like the true name of this thing.
Okay, so this is going to be a hard test. It's minus 20%. Because you don't really know anything about this creature beyond its physical appearance, and that it appears to have been brought here by the churches. So I need you to make me that folklore test. That would be the target you're aiming for. Is going to be a 24.
Which means I need to roll a 24 or lower?
Yes.
Okay. If I have a 5 and a 0, that's not it. Then.
No, unfortunately. Okay. So you as you do, the creature kind of tilts its head to look at you, and you're trying to suss it out. You try to figure out what this thing is. You feel like you know it, right? You feel like there's something there that you might be able to find, but you're racking your brains and you come up with nothing. I would like everybody to roll initiative, as we are now gonna have a fight.
Oh boy.
And initiative
is a D10 plus your initiative bonus. Oh no, we just say the number, right? We don't roll it. How do we do this, Susie? No, we do.
No,
we do roll it. It's
yeah.
D10 plus your initiative.
Plus your initiative.
Nivative. Roll your nivatives.
Oh, that was nearly a 10.
14 for me, Susie.
I'm still trying to find initiative on the sheet.
Second page.
Okay.
Yep.
So
it's a 15
17
for me.
17 for Lucius, 15 for Zachariah.
Yep.
What did you get, Jess?
17 as well.
17, hot damn. Okay. Oh, dang, how do we resolve that? It's whoever has the highest
highest base.
bonus?
Yeah.
So what is your agility score, Jess?
Do you want the score or the bonus? Because my bonus has a addition to it.
I think it's the bonus.
Yeah, it's your A, B.
5.
5. Okay, so you go before Lucius. And... Ooh, okay, so...
So for anyone wondering, we are playing Zweihander RPG. We're using the Mangosh supplement to fuel demons, darkness, and whatever this is. This has been a lot of fun. This is our first session of this. This is going to be a mini campaign that we're running until the end of November. So be sure to be here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so top of the round, we have Seraphina. This beast is looking like it's about to attack. There's a strange man knelt down in the alley, staring it dead in the eye. Your sister is close to you. What would you like to do?
First, just shake her head at her sister for getting up to this nonsense. I was safe in that bar. Everything was fine.
Other than the old man you were with.
Yeah, everything was relatively fine. Better than this. I guess she is just going to strike out with her sword.
All right. Oh my god. Cool. All right, let's roll me that attack.
Let's see. Need to get a below 48.
Nice.
Damn.
And the damage is, let's see. Oh, it looks like it's just a flat 6.
6 plus 1d6. Because you always roll a d6 when you're hitting things. Oh, wait, but hang on. I need to roll to parry you, because I can do that with my reaction. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll that with one of those tokens.
Aw.
Doesn't matter. I got Charlie's curse. You hit. So it's 6 plus 1d6.
7.
7. Okay, so you strike out at the creature, but it doesn't seem to affect it too much. You definitely hit, but you don't appear to have caused any sort of injury to it.
Ah, dang it.
So you do have 2 more AP left.
I would like to inspire. Inspiring words.
All right, let's go.
Let's see, leadership. So I need to get under 56.
56.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
There's 1 token left. And we're nearly done for the night. They refresh
Use it.
every session.
Do it, just do it.
Do it. Go for
There's
it.
1 token left, and if I get it, it is like pretty good because that's
Yeah.
the whole
Good.
thing.
Why?
I'll just see myself out.
Okay, so I think how this plays out is you try and you summon everything you've got with your knowledge and abilities as a skald. You play this inspiring rhythm and you call out, but unfortunately, just as you do, the beast also roars at the same time, and your inspiring words are completely drowned out by this beast. And Lucius and Zari are kind of covered in a bit of spit. It's not nice. Cool.
In that case, I'm going to try to do a stunning blow, a perilous stunt for my last.
Okay.
Not gonna save 1 to try to block, because that would be too smart. Let's see,
All
athletic
right.
plus.
Let's get that
So I need
stunning
to get
blow.
below a 51. Okay, I'm just done then. Forever. Goodbye.
Who has done this? Do you know what it was? It's we all rolled so well so early.
Yeah.
That Fantasy Grounds has been like, it's Charlie. She's done it. She's cursed us. Okay, so that's all your AP spent too, so you cannot parry or dodge these attacks that are coming at you from the beast if it chooses to hit you, which I can't say that it will or won't. All right, next up we have Lucius.
Lucius kind of like, as the beast kind of like rears up and they don't warg at all. He goes, "Oh, you've chosen that path. All right." And he ends up, and as he stands up, his hand kind of like just almost like languid anime, trailing like the key in the air, and it's drawing another little door on this to the side of him.
Yeah.
And he's gonna cast Ring Chaos again.
Okay.
So do I have to roll again? What was that?
It's an incantation test. You're looking to beat, let me have a look, 57.
30.
Nice.
All right. So he this time he's drawing it with the key as he stands up and he's talking, and then it starts to crackle with like the bright light again, and he puts his hand, he just smashes it to the side, and this time all the white glass like flows out almost like something plunging into water, and then swoops back around towards the beast.
Sweet. Okay, so is there any sort of resist to make to that, or is it just your spell happens and the damage happens?
After successfully casting the spell, one foe immediately suffers 2d10 plus WB.
Damn.
And if it's abyssal, it's on fire, or if it's a critical success, they're automatically on fire.
Sweet.
Everyone.
Okay, so roll that 2d10.
That is on a 2d10. The 0 is a 10, right? So that's 17 plus
4, so that's 21.
21. I thought it was a 0.
Okay.
Okay. I don't roll 2d10 very often.
So that is actually enough to knock it down to the lightly wounded threshold. And I need to roll.
I was gonna say these shards of light, as they go into him, it seems almost like veins and like oozing of light oozing into its skin and pulsing underneath a little bit around where they hit.
Yeah, that's dope. Okay, I need to roll a d6 to see if this thing takes an injury or a wound. Oh my god, it does. Okay, what does it take? Let's see. Where's my table at? There it is.
Is this thing a humanoid?
No.
Okay, never mind.
It is not classed as a humanoid. Wait, it's lightly wounded. Never mind, it doesn't take a wound. Not yet. Because it's not at moderately yet. Never mind. So that d6 was for nothing. I just rolled a 6 because I can. Alright, it is now the beast's turn. Unless you would like to do anything else, Jordan.
No, he kind of like cocks his head sideways looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I save action points, then I can try to dodge and stuff, right?
Yes, so you can use one as a reaction to like dodge and parry. Dodge is to avoid ranged, and parry is to avoid damage from melee hits.
Okay.
Okay, so it is going to just, again, it roars back as it's lanced with all these shards of light, and it hates you, Lucius. You have wounded it beyond anything. You've caused it pain, and it hates this. And so it screams in your face, and that maw of teeth, all misshapen and from different sources, just opens up. Those lips peel back, and on brand, you're going to get got by the teeth. So let me roll to attack you, Lucius.
And I have a reaction to this?
Yes, so I need to roll. That does succeed, so you can roll to parry this.
And I can't do another like spell action as a reaction?
No, I don't think so, unless it explicitly says it's a reaction. So you need to roll a D100.
Okay. That is 35.
35. Okay, that is enough. So as these teeth come down to you, you sort of step back as its jaw just crunches shut like an inch from your face, and this thing roars. Now, unfortunately for you, it's going to use all of its AP to attack twice. So it's going to roll. And you have already used a reaction this turn, so I don't believe you can use another one.
Okay.
I don't know, actually. Can you?
It is as the light wills.
I don't think so, Susie, because we've also used a lot of action points. I'm pretty sure you can only use one on reaction.
Gotcha. All right. So this thing's gonna
Chomp at me.
That's a critical hit. So anyway, if you did have the AP, it's gonna hit you regardless. So that's how crits work in this. Crits just automatically hit. So you take 12 points of damage as these teeth just crunch around you. So if that beats your damage threshold, which it does, you are it actually defeats 2 of your thresholds. You are considered moderately wounded. So I need to roll 2d6 to see if you're going to take a wound.
Susie, we discussed this. You can't kill anyone in the first session. I can't afford more art.
So, as these teeth, I think what it does is it gets your arm and crunches down around the arm, and it lances with pain as these teeth rip into your flesh, and it lets go with a roar as it rears back. And that, I think, is where we shall end our session for tonight and get back to the battle with the beast next week.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Go
ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, I only just realised that in theory, Zachariah's just still in the pub.
Yeah.
Where's the
Nice pipe.
I feel like Zachariah knows 100% what is going on outside. He's just like, nah.
I'm too old. Old and friendly.
Alright, so this has been our premiere episode of the Hellfire plot. I'm super excited. I apologize for a couple of hiccups at the start, but hopefully things will be nice and smooth as we dive into episode 2 next week, 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. But since we didn't do introductions at the beginning, why don't we go around, say hello and goodbye to our cast. Let's hear about your favorite moment of today's episode and also where we can find you on the internet. Let's go to the beautiful, the wonderful, returning to Zweihander, Jess. Hello, friend.
Hello. I'm Jess. I think my favorite moment was probably any moment where Lucius was just being entirely creepy, talking about the light. Just very, I promise it's safe. It's not. Like when he sent that family down to a warehouse on the docks, which is definitely
that is
just
a
the
safe
cult
place.
hangout. Don't go to the warehouse on the docks. That's a rookie mistake. Anyway,
you're gonna see this family again. They're gonna be completely fine.
I would be pleasantly surprised if that were the case. Let's see. I'm Jess. You can find me on Twitter at WriteJessR. You can find all of the stuff that I do on my website, writejess.com. I play D&D with the D20 Dames. Season 3 is starting soon, which is very exciting. I do lots and lots of other stuff. I also just had another book is print on demand right now, Morty Corgi's Scroll of Mysteries, which is for Realms of Pugmire, which is basically D&D, but with dogs. It's great. You should check it out. You can find all about my website, writejess.com.
Awesome. Go and check that out. Go and check out the wonderful Jess. And before I go over to Jay down the bottom, I've just remembered there's something we haven't done today. Something very important. And that is our poll for corruption. Because this is a mini campaign, we are not doing the normal sliding scale of corruption and redemption. There is only one direction in this game, and Chaos Chorus, it will be voted for by you. So I will put that poll into chat very shortly. It will be exclamation point, vote, space, and then the number which correlates to your character of choice. I was going to say cultist of choice, but that's maybe just a Freudian slip as I consider Lucius. All right, so that is now open for business, and let's drop down to Jay. Say hi, goodbye, where can we find you, and what's your favorite parts of today?
Hi everyone, I'm Jay Britton. This is not my real hair. I feel like I have to point that out now when I do tabletop streams. It's very hot. That was awesome. I love this world already so much. Yeah, I could do this forever. My favorite bit was Lucius's door. I said this in chat, but that spell, I could just picture this poor hunter going for a haymaker and just this door of light appearing and just whoomp, gone. I love that. I love that spell so much. That whole sequence was just wonderful. You can find me all over the place, really. I'm over on Twitter at VoiceJBritton. I will be streaming on my channel on Friday night, doing some GTA RP over on Twitch, which is just Jay Britton. I'll be on Twitch tomorrow night over with Amelia Tyler, who you might know from Encounter Roleplay's Call of Cthulhu show on Tuesdays. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but it'll involve us abusing each other. And I'm over on Table Story on Mondays for an anime as fuck, a Lancer-based game, which is also ridiculous good fun as well. Blah blah blah. I got a 12-hour stream coming on the 16th of November over on my channel. Come along and make me do stuff and make my day a lot worse. That's it. I think this was awesome. I love it. It's amazing.
Do go and check out Millie and Jay. The combo is ridiculous and beautiful, and the abuse is all within Twitch terms of service. I will, reassure you on that one. I can't think of a good segue from that, but let's hop on over to Jordan for hellos, goodbyes, where we can find you, and your favorite part of today.
Hi, I'm Jordan Shively. My favorite part of the day was all the conversations with Zara and the Clockmaker. I just think those were really fun and really detailed about the world and the way your emotions were. You can find me on @HottestSingles on Twitter, where I write weird stuff. I also write for different role-playing games like Spire and Emberwind, and I also write weird fictions, do a podcast called Carrying Into the Void, design t-shirts, which are sold through voidmerch.net, and you can find a big collection of all of this at jordanshively.com. And I don't
I'm not
stream
muted,
much.
that's good. Awesome. Well, I'm super excited that we could have you here on Encounter Roleplay. Thank you so much for joining us for this first session. I'm going to push the magic button and reveal the results of our poll. That's right, Lucius and Serafina, you have tied for corruption.
What does this mean?
It means you slide
It means
ever
you're cool,
closer.
right?
Yeah, it means you get cooler. You
Yeah.
slide a bit
So
closer to
the
corruption.
way I figured out this is going to work so that we can try and hit that corruption meter is you roll a d6 every time you win/lose this poll, depending on how you view the outcome of it, and add that to your corruption scale.
Oh, Jess. Jess.
Does the GM want to roll for me so the chat can see mine?
I'll roll for you, Jordan. 2.
So there we go. The corruption seeps in. The corruption, of course, the weapon of choice of our Dark Mistress, Susanna Grace.
Oh, Dark Mistress. I get used to that. Thank you very much, Charlie. I think my favorite part of tonight was where I was like, I could describe this eldritch, horrible, bloodborne-esque monster, but you guys could do it too. And you guys make the most horrible thing I could think of. It's horrific. And it's just every time more descriptors got added, I was like, I'm very proud of you all.
I dialed it back one notch from where my brain went immediately too. So we'll save that one for the next time.
For the next time. All right. So, I'm Susanna Grace, otherwise known as Susie. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. I'm here on Zweihander every Wednesday up until the end of November for this very good game that I'm very excited to do more of. You'll find me tomorrow on Follow Black Cats for After the Fire, in which we do the heist of the century. We deliver the body of Lord Aaron to King's Landing in the middle of the King's Hand tourney to cause some scandal in Westeros. Other than that, check out my Twitter. I have a pinned tweet that's got my schedule on with all that good stuff.
Awesome. Please do go and check out all of this awesome cast. Please also check out Half-Assed Hermit. I can speak. Half-Assed Hermit, who did all of the incredible character art that you can see on screen right now. Go and check out just all of the things. But be back here tomorrow when you're done checking all of that out, because at 4 p.m. Eastern, we are live with Unhallowed Metropolis, which, if you don't know, is a kind of grim, dark, Victorian, gothic, steampunky adventure led by DM Hollowtail. It's a lot of fun. We are trying desperately to find out the fate of Cooper, the chicken boy, at this dark carnival that was begun, I believe, at Halloween. So that is where we are going tomorrow. Please come back and join us then. But until then, try not to roll too many nat ones. Unless you're playing Zweihander, and it's a good thing. Because we want to be there laughing when you do. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.